Welcome to the weekly market wrap-up. I'm Hannah Bernard. Well, this week we are seeing all eyes on Ukraine and the ongoing political crisis that is far from resolved. For now, Wall Street is full steam ahead as the bull market continues to set records. But if the crisis escalates and turns violent, it could prove disastrous for the markets. Investors are advised to remain extremely vigilant during this time. Let's get to it. Checking out what's going on in the U.S. markets, the benchmark S&P 500 closed at another record high of 1,877 points this week, as we saw traders push the index towards the 1,900 level. The Dow Jones Industrial Average, which has been the laggard of the three so far this year, closed up 56 points and is now inside 200 points of breaking its own closing record. So that's good to see, but it appears the Nasdaq Composite Index didn't have the same performance as it was muted, down 6 points. Turning now to Canadian markets, which had an up and down week. The Toronto Stock Exchange fought its way back up from a major dip on Tuesday, only to close down 32.25 points on Thursday, finishing the day at 14,271. The Toronto Venture Exchange fared better, finishing up 10.08 points to close at 1,039. Now, of course, the greatest concern amongst the global investment community is the Ukrainian crisis, specifically the outcome of the standoff between Russia and the Western allies. While strong rhetoric has been exchanged across the entire spectrum, it is not clear who has the advantage. Currently, Russia provides 30% of the European Union's natural gas needs, and a critical supply route used by U.S. troops in Afghanistan runs through Russian territory. And then on the other hand, Russia's MI6 is down about 6.5% for the week, and a recent poll suggests 73% of Russians are against involvement in Ukrainian affairs. Wherever the advantage lies, let's hope this crisis will soon be resolved peacefully and soon. Let's turn now to precious metals and see how they reacted to international events. Bit of a roller coaster ride this week as gold had a strong opening performance as investors scrambled to safe haven assets, but trimmed back a majority of those gains by midweek. And then on Thursday, market action propped up the metals complex with gold closing at $1,351. Silver, in contrast, had a relatively slow opening performance as investor sentiment for industrial metals, including copper, began to decline at the end of February. But with the U.S. fast-tracking sanctions against Russia, investor sentiment lifted silver's price to $21.46. Palladium had its strongest week of the year with prices pushed north of $770. Of course, much of this is attributed to the speculation on supply concerns as Russia is the leader in palladium production. Thursday's market action closed at lucky number 777. Now to winners and losers and our picks for the week. The winner for this week is Mid-States Petroleum, ticker symbol MPO. Mid-States shares jumped over 14% on Wednesday due to a delayed earnings report to account for positive developments around improved financial flexibility. The company is attempting to restructure its liabilities as it is saddled with an extremely high debt-to-equity ratio of 2.45. Despite the recent swing in bullish enthusiasm, Wall Street analyst consensus is very poor, so MPO remains a speculative investment. The loser for this week is Sberbank Russia, ticker symbol SBRCY. Sberbank shares dropped 11.5% on Monday following Russian forces' incursion into Crimea, setting off global market volatility. The Russian ruble dipped to multi-year lows against the US dollar earlier this week, and while a recovery is underway, the long-term picture is still very much bearish, and any further incidences could devastate the Russian equity sector. Well, those are our winners and losers for this week, and now it's time to check in on the gains you could have locked in by following the weekly watch list from Robert James and Viral Stocks. That's enough about this week. Now let's turn to BayStreet.ca's look at the week ahead and the snapshot of what analysts are forecasting for companies whose earnings reports are coming out next week. Here are 3 U.S. stocks to watch. On Monday, Urban Outfitters is out with an EPS estimate of 59 cents. The Philadelphia-based company owns and operates over 400 retail outlets across 5 retail brands. Last month, the retailer announced net sales for the fourth quarter of fiscal 2014 increased to $906 million, or 6% over the same quarter last year. On Tuesday, Dick's Sporting Goods Incorporated is out with an EPS estimate of $1.07. And on Wednesday, we'll see Krispy Kreme out with an EPS forecast of 14 cents. Checking in on Canadian stocks to watch next week. Starting the week off on Monday, we have Canadian Western Bank with an EPS estimate of 65 cents, compared to 57 cents in the prior year quarter. On Wednesday, the Black Diamond Group Limited is out with an EPS estimate of 37 cents, compared to 24 cents in the prior year quarter. And lastly, for Canada on Thursday, Tahoe Resources Incorporated with an EPS estimate for a loss of 8 cents, compared to a loss of 16 cents in the prior year quarter. The Vancouver-based company noted in January that its Escobal mine in Guatemala had reached commercial production, ramping towards the 3,500 ton per day target level. And that wraps it up. Thanks again so much for joining us for another weekly market wrap-up. Before you head out for the weekend, make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel and find us on Facebook and on Twitter. For Viral Network News, Crush the Street and BayStreet.ca, I'm Hannah Bernard.